Hello everybody and welcome to our first game of today. King of the Hill, currently Noggano, who has won, I think he's on his fourth game at the moment after blitzing it last week, playing with the Brits. Now we see him right side of Kolodny Firma playing as the USF.
And he's up against the challenger, Captain Rayon. He was Artivik in Twitch chat, but now he's going as Captain Rayon. He's playing as the Wehrmacht or Ost here. He's starting in the west, and he's looking to usurp the king-in-waiting Noggano.
And we can confirm, unlike last week, that this is the Austere building that has just been built there. It's not OKW, as I miscalled. I don't know if you remember that charming mistake from last week, AE. But it is going to be the Austere USF matchup, which I always personally think favours USF out here.
It depends. It really does depend. I mean, it depends on that early game, trying to get the M20 out and trying to harass the MG, and the Grenadiers trying to evade the Fausts. I mean, it is mostly a lieutenant build against the Ost here most of the time. The captain is mostly saved for the OKW, of course, but it can go either way. And then if that early game goes right for USF, it can snowball from there.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting one in the sense that we haven't had to see a lot of USF in this tournament so far, but what we have seen has been very, very good. As far as we know from the balance as of yet, you know, the four factions, the two vanilla from the Western Front, seem to be in very, very good shape against each other. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this goes. And also, Stuart, you know, not so much of an anti-infantry killer anymore.
No, it's a bit more well-rounded now. It shouldn't be able to take everything on in the early game like it was doing, which was, not the early game, the mid-game rather. It was just coming out, it was dealing with both infantry tanks. It's received a little bit of a, I hesitate to say nerf. A lot of it in this patch seems to be adjustments, if you will.
An equalizer, how about we call it that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's been the sole focus of this, is to really equalize everything. So there's just no outstandingly OP units, at least in these factions.
Yeah, and I don't like to see roles taken away from the game. I don't like to see things become generalist units if they can't, and that's not been the case. I mean, for example, the Stug E or the AEC have been given distinct roles in this game, infantry and vehicle respectively. So it's not the case that they're just trying to make everything bland. They're just trying to balance it for competitive play, and I think that's an honourable task.
Definitely. We just had our first engagement there. Pioneers try to move across the negative cover to take the riflemen down. And of course, Pioneers are, you know, they have higher attack now. So you might actually get some use out of going into those close engagement against the riflemen. Previously, wouldn't really been much of an option. But now actually you do start to see a couple more model drops, just putting that manpower reduction on the USF player early.
And that's the good thing about this patch as well. It's had very small incremental changes. But in past relic staff changes from people like Breaking Brad, etc., you did see large swings in the statistics. For example, the Pioneer here, near accuracy increase from 0.403 to 0.463. It's you know, a 5/100ths of a change, but it makes a bit of a difference, and that's what we like to see.
We have some interesting engagements up here already. Two of the Grenadiers trying to combat Noggano's rifleman. One of the squad's forced to retreat straight away. Will manage to keep the squad alive, but the Grenadiers haven't managed to do that much damage against the rifleman yet. The cover battle has definitely been positive for Noggano there.
Here's the ever powerful USF mortar pushing the MG away from the church, but it's probably better suited to this infantry engagement in the northwest, so it might be a good positional maneuver.
A capture point is being overrun.
Yeah, a very sensible choice as well. When you see that MG come out as one of the starting units, the USF mortar is just one of the best things to bring out early, so you can continually keep that unit moving around the field.
Check out the MP40s of the Pioneers. It was able to push, admittedly, two ill-healthed riflemen away, but it pushed two squads away down, just a Pioneer worker unit. So that little tiny change does matter.
Yeah, I think they're going to see a new role, and you may even see some strategies come out, especially like the double Pioneer start, which might actually have like more effect now. It's really nice to see Captain Rayon. I mean, bear in mind his opponent is Noggano, who's an absolutely huge player in this game. He's not doing too badly, to be honest. He's got his resources connected at the moment. He's trying to get onto that second VP northeast at the moment. So it's not like looking a bad early game for him at all.
Well, this guy's doing okay so far. He's staying in it. He's not in a difficult position right now, but the M20 is about to hit. So the USF, they can make pushes with the 3 riflemen very early on. Then it's all about getting the lieutenant and the M20 working for you, and this will be the next wave that Rayon will have to, in my opinion, survive.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Yeah, we're discussing with the M20 and the AA half-track. I think the M20 is a little more flexible to fly around the field doing little bits of damage. The M20 mine's going to be absolutely fantastic on those narrow choke points across the map. But really, I mean, one of the best things against Oster is that AA half-track, because it doesn't suffer to the scout car strategy. You know, the AA half-track is actually capable of countering multiple scout cars. So we'll see how that goes down, and also if Rayon does decide to go double scout car or even single scout car here against the M20, it would be very effective.
It is tried and tested in tournament level play at the M20 though. It's DevM made it very popular in 2015, and when players play with this build using all the tier structures, it always reminds me of that style of play, and it won him in fact OCF, so it definitely works.
Noggano getting pushed off of that left side of the map there. He's not had a particularly strong game with the USF so far. He's struggling to find a use for the M20 at the moment, which is looks like it's driving around just trying to acquire targets. It's probably going to go and engage the Grenadiers here. That's a lovely rifle nade across the hedge, trying to dislodge the USF mortar.
Must be said that Captain Rayon isn't a noob. He's level 73, or rank 73 rather, as Wehrmacht, which implies he's a solid 1v1 player. This guy can tango with the top 50, but it's whether he can tango against a top tournament level player in Noggano, because this guy is a stud.
Frag grenades now available for action.
Grenades have been teched for Noggano. Interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. I wonder what he's going to be trying to do with those, because Rayon has been quite quick at the engagements. I haven't really seen him miss micro anything, or, you know, late retreat, leave units unguarded. So grenades might put that little bit of extra pressure on, but I don't know if he's going to be that successful with the wipes that come from this. I mean, his main focus right now is nice. Noggano, who's capping a lot of the map. Just needs to get that mortar back up the field, start pressuring this house here. I don't think he needs the grenades, you know.
Calling it now. Wait a minute. Going to be a lull in activity. There's going to be a little engagement between the scout car and the M20, but Noggano's going to get his rifleman back to health. He's going to get in position, and then he's going to go for a monstrous flanking maneuver with the grenades. That's what you do as a top level player. You take the grenades, and then you try and go for a big push. And you try and take something out like an MG. So hopefully we're going to see that. But Rayon is applying pressure, so that might not happen.
It's a very difficult situation. He really doesn't have the composition to start pushing outside of his territory. He just lost the first Grenadier squad. I think it's the first loss of the game for Rayon. So yeah, I mean, he can't push with the scout car because the M20's been around for a while now. He doesn't know if that M20 mine is hanging around. We have got minesweepers, but I don't think they've been over that side of the field yet. So Noggano's doing a really good job of just putting on all the psychological pressure that says you can't come here, you can't risk it, and that's going to give him a great resource boost as we go into the mid game.
Again, this Pioneer now has one less MP40 firing the panhandle in their arms, and the M20 is going to rocket around the corner and try and eviscerate them.
Yeah, and of course Lieutenant no chance of the anti-tank grenade there, so they will be forced to retreat straight away under fire of the MG42. Rayon's trying to go south to capture one of the VPs, and stopping the VP drain is probably one of the only things that will keep him in this game long enough against Noggano to get those units out that will help him win.
Talking of which, he has got some opportunities later in the game. No Tigers by their omission. Got some interesting tactics. He's got German mechanized doctrine with the LEFH and the command tank spotting scopes. The Jaeger armor, which is of course an elephant tank destroyer doctrine, and the Blitzkrieg doctrine, which is command tank and super close air. So we'll be looking to try and get into the later tiers of Wehrmacht, tier 4 for example, to possibly get a Panther or a Stug to tide him over until that point.
I actually really like the idea of Blitzkrieg doctrine here because, I mean, tactical movement, absolutely fantastic. Panzer Tactician, you know, great for kind of stunting tank assaults or protecting units or, you know, when your tank's engine damaged. But also, I just think against USF, there is a slight drawback in that the Lieutenant has been teched and the AA half-track can come out to kind of counter the aircraft. But otherwise, if a USF player doesn't do that, the Ju-87s are just phenomenal against the USF. They really, really do so much of that damage in the late game.
I have to say, Dan, oh my god, that mortar round, Jesus Christ. I have to say, every USF game I've ever cast with you, you have mentioned the half track so many times. Is it a unit that you personally love?
I just think it's an incredible unit to play against Austere. And, you know, we take, for instance, like DevM, who will roll out the M20 then into the half-track. Like, the reason is because it just counters so much. Like, the synergy you get from these two units, it can just stunt so many types of early game from the Austere. So, and its late-game potential, if you keep it alive, is there. You know what I mean? It's really some of the only anti-aircraft that the US has. And against
my point is, I always see the Stuart. DevM goes into the Stuart after the M20. So I know a lot of players do use the half track though. It's just something that I've never seen that much. So I'm just thinking, is it something you personally love to use? You know what I mean? Because you play a lot of games, well, way more games than I personally do.
Well, DevM is in the chat, so maybe you can ask him yourself. But
I know. I read his strategies, and I know it's definitely the Stuart.
Well, yeah, I'm going from Warpaint Championship.
Did he use the half track in that?
He certainly did.
There you go then. So I'm wrong in that case.
That's my
Maybe
only
he's
knowledge
adopted.
of it, yeah.
Warpaint Championships, of course, was a big tournament late last year. Very interesting to see DevM in 2016 being dominant. Like so many years after we saw him emerge onto the CoH2 scene as a 12-year-old. Pioneer possibly going down here. It might try and get them with the bars from max range. There you go, headshotted done.
Yeah, that was really nice, and again, great attention to detail from Noggano. Picking out those units retreating that have the lowest health really, really helps, of course. Here we go, we're seeing a nice Noggano counter-rifle nade. It's going to be the grenade that does more damage, though. Huge health loss from the grenade there, and just such great unit presence from Noggano. You know, he really has got eyes all over the map, and that's where the difference comes in between these two players right now, these small pickups.
Nice vault there from Noggano. I thought that was an accident, but it certainly looked very Commando-esque in the south, where he just all of his units vaulted and jumped straight behind the tractor. It looks really cool.
New anti-tank gun has arrived.
Here we go, the anti-tank gun now on the field for the Austere. That's a weird counter, in my opinion, just for the M20. Like, the scout car should be countering the M20 in effect, or at least preventing it from doing the damage that it is.
I always say that an Austere without the Pack 40 is an Austere that's going to lose the game. You need a Pack 40 at some point. And even if it's not a reactionary weapon, he's going to have to build one at some point, most likely, so he might as well have it out at some now. Oh my god, the MG42 just bit the dust. Unrecoverable weapon.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate. I couldn't tell if he was actually getting it out of the house or not, because it certainly didn't have the symbol there from what I saw. But yeah, another huge pickup. Those grenades really have been paying off for Noggano. And based on the start game, I didn't think those grenades were going to have that much value, but they really have been worked well.
They can add up over time as well. If they can't do what I wanted to happen, which was a big all-in early game flank, they can punish your opponent for getting tired in the late game. So Noggano's endurance should be a lot better than Captain Rayon's. So later in the game, his micro will stay at a higher level, most likely, and then the grenades can really start to punish his opponent.
Scout car looks like it's getting a little bit weak there. Was that the rifleman that did that, or the mortar perhaps?
It could have been an anti-tank rifle grenade, but in general the bars can actually do a lot of damage over time to a scout car, and you can't actually duke it out for that long, to be honest, especially when there's two squads.
I really love how Noggano is using this M20, just kind of really hanging around at max range, making great use of the pintle mount MG on there. And in fact, do you call that a pintle mount? Is that a pintle mount?
Yeah, it's a pintle mount if it's out of the top of the vehicle and it's on a pintle. I think a pintle's like a pivot, I guess.
Right, yeah.
I will Google it, Daniel.
I don't want to enrage the more historical, accurate people who watch these streams.
It has been known to happen. Right. It encompasses, it's a term that encompasses every single thing of affixing an armament to a stabilization on top of a moving vehicle. Perfect. And I will copy and paste that Wikipedia article if anyone wants to disagree.
Well, actually, in the Reich, there was a vehicle known as a pintle, and it was a very small howitzer that had green camouflage, so technically you're incorrect there.
Pretty much how it goes. Here we go with another deadly grenade from Noggano. Rayon manages to avoid it. The Panzer Grenadiers trying to push all the USF off that middle VP. It's not looking like a good situation for Rayon right now, who's lost all his territory, has given double fuel to Noggano. And Noggano's teching. I mean, he hasn't actually gone up for the Meiji yet.
Just to make
he
the
has,
crowd
sorry,
aware.
he has.
Just to make the crowd aware and my co-caster Dan aware, this game is currently being cast in 10 FPS. We are now aware of it, and we will endeavour to fix that technical issue in between this game and the next game. Hopefully you can still enjoy it. I've cast many a game in 10 FPS. It doesn't actually make that much difference. You'll be fine.
What's wrong with it?
It's in 10 FPS at times. Like the units just start doing the robot, you know? Like,
Really?
yeah, I don't know what. I think you changed it to 30, didn't you, or something? I don't quite know what's caused it, to be honest. It comes and goes, so I'll keep an eye on it for you.
I'll have a look.
We are losing a sector.
About technical difficulties with it is we do have the experience to fix them. We've been casting this game long enough and we've had to suffer a hell of a lot of technical difficulties. For example, in London last week they didn't have the cable, the HDMI cable plugged into the graphics card. They plugged it into the motherboard. Oh, nice! Max range anti-tank rifle grenade taking out that Fantastic scout car there.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice anti-tank grenade. Perfect timing from Noggano, as usual. We now have the Command Panzer IV on the field. Trying to get as much work off as possible. The M20 laying that M20 mine, which may be the deal breaker here if that Panzer IV decides to give chase. He doesn't want to sit too close to the mine, just in case the shot lands it. Look at Noggano baiting. Like you can clearly see what Noggano is trying to do there.
But he didn't anticipate the fact that the Panzer IV is the stub-nosed command tank variant, and it will go after infantry targets as a priority. Or in this case, Captain Rayon's going to make it go after infantry, but no! Oh, he takes out the M20 from max range there! So close to the mine.
Yeah, very, very close. He has no idea it's there, but he may just by chance manage to avoid it. And of course, he has to make such work with this Command Panzer IV right now. This has to basically carry absolutely everything the Austere has, and it's going to be up against the Sherman now, which has just arrived onto the battle with that lovely tiger shark skin there.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's like a child's interpretation of World War II. It is a beautiful tank, though. Very high profile. It did, however, of course, have the sloped armour that British tanks would have preferred. It's a very good all-round anti-infantry fighting vehicle, and it can tango with the German medium armour.
Noggano looks like he's going straight in for it. He pops the smoke on the Sherman. That's going to try and stop the vision from the AT gun. Now he's chasing down the Command Panzer IV, but it penetrates from the front. Now he's got rear armor, so it could go down if the Command Panzer IV decides to chase. This is very, very tense. One more shot and it will go down. For some reason, he decides
coming in.
I don't know.
Will he be able to make it? The M4 Sherman's getting away. He's getting away with murder there, because that was very good from Rayon. Well, at least his Panzer IV was the RNG was very good. I thought Noggano played excellently there, Dan. That Sherman smoke was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it?
The Sherman smoke was very well done, and also to do that on the move, because the ability usually breaks your movement. To continue moving with it is, you know, the nice skill in itself. But yeah, I mean, a great play. I think Rayon made a mistake not chasing that down with the Command Panzer.
No, wait, it was smoke barrage from the mortar.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's just finished its
It
smoke
looks
barrage.
like it. No, that
I just watched it. Oh, did he do both, do you think?
I'm very sure that came from the Sherman, yeah, because it had the
Fair
line,
enough.
it had the smoke shell trail.
Well, even better, he smoked it perfectly with a Sherman, which I've never seen on the move. Then he followed up with mortar smoke to keep his Sherman alive and the Pack 40 not killing it.
That was a very nice move. You can just sense the desperation from Rayon here. He's trying to cap that VP on the north, completely outmatched, fighting in negative cover. There's a grenade in the center. Oh gosh, I think there was a squad wipe there from the US mortar, wipes low health grenadiers. It's all going wrong for Rayon right now. Manpower's going down the drain. He's only got the Command Panzer IV.
10 kills already though, Dan. I mean, it's not done too badly for itself. I appreciate that, of course, Rayon has lost a hell of a lot of infantry in this game, and I will now give you those statistics. Right now, Rayon has lost 2 grenadiers, 2 HMG, well, he's lost his HMG twice. Of course, the second time it was unpickable. And of course, he's lost a Pioneer, so it's not gone great for him in terms of preservation.
No, it was a great early game, like really good start to the game, but this is why preservation is just so important, because quite frankly, Noggano has just mastered every engagement above Rayan, and you know, he's reaping the benefits of it. He's got way more to play with, way more counters on the field to everything that Rayan has, and they're going to see another engagement with the Sherman, the Command Panzer IV. This time not doing as much damage on frontal penetration. There's an AT gun, and it's going to force the Sherman away, hopefully.
Here comes the big bad Pershing onto the field as well. It's coming into your picture. This Panzer IV does not stand a chance. It's reversing away rather mildly and meekly, but there you go. It's destroyed. However, it is abandoned, Dan.
Yeah, the Sherman may go down here if Rayan can get the Faust off, but then he's got to deal with his Pershing, which is going to be incredibly difficult to deal with. Noggano goes back into the engagement just to try and...
Faust is now available. We've got the 25 munitions needed. We can't quite get to the Sherman. Oh, he abandons it with the Pak 40. Pershing going around the rear of the Pak 40 might even decrew it momentarily.
Huge shots from the Pershing right now, barely anything to cover it. He's got to get a shot off with the AT gun so that he's actually able to use the Faust. It was mistimed. Used the Faust before the AT gun shell hit, which meant that the Faust did not deliver engine damage. And that timing...
The hull gunner of the Pershing, which now, by the way, independently attacks infantry of its own violation, wiped the Pak 40 before it was able to get the shot, which meant the Faust was mistimed. This game is on a knife's edge at times, Dan, and we've seen that very, very much in this game.
Yeah, it has been... I mean, I think this is game closure now. I don't really see what Rayan can do at this point. USF, they opt to recrew their Sherman, even with the severe engine damage that it's got. Massive risk of losing that Vet 3 squad if that Sherman had gone down with the crew inside. There's a lovely grenade. This should wipe the Grenadiers. It does. Huge grenade there.
Foul, dirty, disgusting grenade. Absolutely eviscerates that squad, leaves them in little bits around the battlefield. Pak 40 at max range trying to take out the newly crewed Wehrmacht Sherman.
What was the decision to recrew that Sherman? It is going to do absolutely nothing except lose 3 models of that Grenadier squad. We've got to be seeing the surrender button come up soon. Noggano is stomping Rayan.
Yes, I like to say that Rayan did the right thing, though. He's shown that he's got guts. He's had his game casted in front of a live audience, and we've all seen Noggano. Almost like, do you remember in Game of Thrones where the Mountain is having warm-up opponents, and they're just like throwing 11 stone guys, and he's like ripping their heads off and stuff.
We must stiffen our resolve.
This is the Mountain that made Gregor Klengain right now. He's just taken Rayan, he's like sparred with him a little bit, then he's dismembered him with 2 hands, just pulled his arms off, and then proceeded to hit him with those arms. You're speechless, Stormers.
I am absolutely speechless, but then again, Nagano's gameplay always leaves me that way. He's just played a fantastic game the whole way through. If you like, you know, I really like that he hasn't played Brits as well, because he's actually able to continue playing Brits. The new format doesn't kick in until he's dethroned or becomes king. So, you know, given that he's just chosen to play USF, he's put on an excellent demonstration of how to play this faction. Textbook stuff.
Yeah, you'll be pleased to know, by the way, I've been watching the frame rate. It did judder for a little bit, but then it got a lot better. So I think we'd probably be okay to keep going as is without having to restart anything, I guess.
It should be fine. It could just be a little lull in internet. You know, it could be anything like that. If it starts happening again, obviously we'll fix it. But apologies.
God, Vet 3 Panzer Grenadier is about to die. There you go. Brutal execution from the whole gunner.
This one unit. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, Rayan's obviously just staying in this game to last it out till the end.
Our brave infantry is dying.
Oh, he's got a Pak 40. He's got a phasing through there. His tank just went through the other tank.
That is pure German style, futuristic weaponry for its time. GG Noggano. I think that's his 5th game, which means one more we can crown him king. I think. Could you check that for me, because let me just look on the spreadsheet.
I was about to go and do that. Yes, I will do that momentarily. I'll have those stats for you very soon indeed.
So anyway, there you go, the guys. That's the match stats for you. 111 units killed for 76 lost Noggano. Obviously, the near reverse of that for Rayon. Otherwise, a pretty balanced game at the start. You can really see where Noggano started to pick it up with that Tier 1 Lieutenant build and just carried on that growth. Really, you know, they're both growing at the same rate. Obviously, some squad losses here that you just don't really tend to see from Noggano. Just a really good game. Really good solid play.
It was a good game to get us into the spirit of things, I think. It's done a good job of that.
Alright, well, let's open up the raffle and go for our next contender. I will just check a couple of things with the stream, just to make sure the settings are right, and hopefully we don't have any lag problems again.
You kept track of things, so I don't think our keeper of records was around for the last week of play, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, he's doing it today, though. At least he's doing it today. We'll have to go back through the videos to find out. I can do that on YouTube, at least. I uploaded the entire cast yesterday.
FPS seems to be running at... The output is
Yeah, I'm on my own YouTube here. You're on Stormless's Twitch, so by all means follow him, and if you really want to support him, subscribe to him. My YouTube is now posted in the comments. Every game from today will probably end up uploaded there, and there's a hell of a lot of other content for you to see. So it's all there's no money income here, so this isn't all about trying to make money. This is just about trying to encourage us to keep making content. So increase our EP ever so slightly. It's free. There you go.
Jeez. Where is Noggano? He's in the R section. Doesn't look like he's in game at the moment. No, he's not. Okay, I guess he's going to be watching the stream, working out who his next opponent is, and we're not going to waste any time getting to that opponent. So, guys, I'm resetting the raffle right now. It is now open. If you think you can beat Noggano, I believe this may be his last game before King, then !raffle. If you win the raffle, you can either play against Noggano, as Artivik just did, or you can nominate anybody else in the chat to play on your behalf. I know that we've got some players here. We've got Devem and Barton who may want to go.
This is Noggano's journey. Count it with me. Okay, I'm going to talk you through what happened the last thing we had. First, we had Zarok and Tenchi playing, and I believe Zarok, of course, would have won that. Then we had Zarok as reigning king in waiting. Noggano beat him on Crossing in the Woods. Noggano playing as the OKW there.
Yep.
So Noggano's he's now king. He's got to win 5, hasn't he? First game was against Frost.
Yep.
Of course, he disposed of Frost. Then he came up against...
That counts as his second game, because he's won against...
It's 6 in total, isn't it, though?
Six in total, yeah. So the first one is the takeover,
yeah,
and then the rest of the
5 as the king in waiting. So
yeah.
Frost, then Vindicare X, which was on the Halber.
Yep.
Again, Noggano now playing as Brits. That's his second of the 5, his third out of the 6. It's getting confusing. Then against Von Ivan, which was his third as king, 4th in total.
Yep.
And he's just done his 4th as king, 5th in total. So you bang on. This game will decide whether he becomes our next crown king and joins Helping Hands in that prestigious title.
Excellent. So yeah, and once he does become king or gets dethroned, we then move over to our new rules change. And I notice as some people are just kind of coming into the channel now who may not know, the rules for this event will change when Noggano leaves. Basically, after this, to become king, to keep the variety going, the king must obviously win his first game to start the usurpation of the throne. After that, every game of his 5 that he plays has to be a different faction. So he must play each one of the 5 factions and win in order to become King of the Hill. So there is going to be some interesting elements, and mainly just to keep things very good looking for us, so that we always see a mix of factions. So let's have a look who's going to win the raffle. Previously, as you guys know, it was Artivik So this time we're going to draw, and it's going to be Stalker Strike. Stalker Strike, do you want to play against Noggano for his final game, or do you want to nominate someone in chat to try and take him down?
That's right, Stalker Trike. The power is in your hands. It's now time to name or shame, nominate or dominate, choose or lose, elect or be wrecked. You have the power. Are you going to play, or are you going to choose somebody else to do so?
Someone in chat's just made a very interesting point. He says, "Welp, I'd never be king. I don't even own all 5 factions." Well, that's a very good point, and sorry. I think if that happens, we'll find a way around it. But as far as it goes, most people should or do own 5 factions. And
I know.
Yeah.
If you've gotten to 5 games as king, you will have earned some prize pool, so you'll be able to buy yourself the factions you're missing with the prize pool.
That is an excellent point. Do we have anything from Stalker Strike yet? We don't. I haven't seen anything tagging me to say that. So what we'll do is we'll re-roll.
Reroll.
Reroll. It's going to be Squishy Muffin. Squishy
I
Muffin
like
does
Squishy
not
Muffin.
sound like the kind of player that can take Noggano down.
Sounds like the kind of reason you go to a gum clinic, to be honest. But yeah, Squishy Muffin. All that stuff I said for the previous guy, I'm now saying to you. Either choose a good player, there are good players out there, or if you think you've got what it takes to beat Noggano, by all means, try and do so.
Yeah, I'm watching chat very, very carefully right now. They're not seeing it. Guys, remember, if you are going to raffle, please make sure you have an idea in your mind of whether you want to play or who you want to nominate. I can see that he's talking at the moment, choosing a player. So many opportunities. Von Ivan's here, Cruzy's here, Devem's here, Barton's here. There's loads of good. Tobis is back as well, which was nice. We did see some good play from Tobis in the weeks going before this.
Wafia's out there as well. Yes, indeed, we have got some good top 50 level players. Something that'll give Noggano a run for his money. That's what we want to see. We want to see good games.
Yeah, and bear in mind it is the final one for Noggano, so might be a good idea to pick someone who you know is capable of doing that. Squishy Muffin says, "Stormus, I nominate Von Ivan Kappa."
Kappa Claus.
Should we just crown Noggano king now, or?
Believe in Von Ivan. He can be one of the best players in the game at times, and sometimes he can be king of throws. But Von Ivan definitely adds that kind of unpredictability that could upset Noggano. I fully believe, and I think we should get it on.
Game of Throws is definitely somewhere Von Ivan could be king. He could definitely be a factional leader in that spin-off TV series. But hopefully we do get to see a structured game, as you rightly said. Like, he can be an absolutely phenomenal player. He can do his own thing. Last time we saw him, he played Firestorm Doctrine against, was it Noggano? Is it he played Firestorm? I think it was.
I have to say he's my MVP of this tournament series so far, or competitive match series, whatever you want to call the King of the Hill. He's had the best plays, Von Ivan. Not necessarily had the best success, but he's had the most interesting and dynamic aggression, and that's what I like to see personally.
Yeah, and we do have to also just drop in that anybody who's playing with kind of like a non-meta commander that is winning, they will get a bonus prize. We if you win using a non-meta strategy, and utilize a lot of the stuff in it, and it really looks cool, we'll just give you £10 straight away. So remember that if you're going to join the game, it might be worth playing around with some less meta items.
Could be. Or you might just want to win and brutally abuse meta.
It's like, you might just want to win.
Yeah. It's possible. But if you can do both of abusing your opponent whilst using something that isn't meta, you're a very good player indeed. It might be you get a player that isn't quite up to your scratch. You might want to possibly go for that. If you're up against Noggano and Noggano is about to be crowned king, I'd recommend trying to beat him in as effective a way as you can.
Can you do me a favour? Nagano's just told me he's banned in my chat for some reason. Please don't do that. Noggano is a very stand-up guy and has no reason to be banned in this chat whatsoever. So anybody who did that, please make sure that you do not ban Noggano. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they are about to launch their game. I just want to make another little announcement. So, of course, we always do commander raffles throughout the day today. Thanks to Relic, they gave some commander codes so that you guys can get hold of those in-game DLC commanders a little bit quicker for supporting community tournaments, which is great. We've also had a couple of people throw in some prizes, mainly Von Klug, who's giving us a copy today of IL-2 Sturmovik and Men of War Assault Squad, the competitive version to our RTS. So, I don't think I said that right. The competing version to our RTS. That sounded terribly wrong. Anyway, we've got codes for that. So stick around. After the next game, we'll start doing giveaways for those 2 game keys.
I think people are more excited for giveaways that are unrelated to Company Heroes 2 than they would be if it was Commander DLC or skins, etc. They're like, oh, wow, something else. Cool. That's, yeah, it's an interesting state of affairs for sure.
All right, well, let's head over to the wait screen. The game's going to be starting very shortly, so guys, go and grab a drink now or anything that you need, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes for the second game of King of the Hill.
Nice.
Hello everybody and welcome to our second game of King of the Hill today. We have Noggano currently about to be king, the second king that we've had in our series so far after Helping Hands. He's his last game and he has picked USF to play on the north side of Crossroads.
However, one man stands in his way. One man stands in his way. That is Von Ivan. He's elected to play as Wehrmacht. This guy is the only thing keeping Noggano from becoming the second Crown King. He's a very unpredictable player, very aggressive player. He's a very volatile player. Will he have what it takes to usurp the Russian giants?
It's gonna be a difficult one. Noggano is a solid player. Von Ivan is an incredible yet sometimes unreliable player, and hopefully we're gonna get to see the beginnings of a stable build today. We've got the MG and Grenadier, so it looks pretty normal from Von so far, which we like to see.
Everybody's, of course, very mindful that, statistically speaking, Wehrmacht are probably the least powerful faction in competitive 1 versus 1 right now. They still are able to win, but they aren't the most powerful faction. This is, however, a map that lends itself very well to Wehrmacht play.
Yeah, this has always been an amazing map for sniper play explicitly, because there's just so many cover opportunities, and also all that negative cover will stop your opponent from trying to cross the map to flank you and push you out. So hopefully we do get to see a little bit of that beautiful sniper play on the field today.
But even if we don't see the sniper, the MG42 can use the narrow choke points that Crossing the Woods mostly offers, and you put some pressure down on Noggano, make him think a little bit more before just wantonly attacking his opponents.
That was really nice there, by the way, Von Ivan, just moving the Pioneers forward a little bit so we could get vision for the MG there. So really nice use of the Pioneers with their extended sight range. Noggano getting a lot of map control here. Von Ivan pretty content to just try and lock down the right side of the map. An interesting choice, because of course the left side of the map is kind of stable for us there.
One of the more interesting changes we saw in early 2015 was, of course, the synergy between Pioneers and MGs. They increased the line of sight of Pioneers whilst decreasing the line of sight of MGs. So now you have to use them with a guide. You have to be like a seeing eye dog for the blind and lead your MG into combat, much as like is happening right now with Von Ivan.
I saw you shaking your head, by the way.
I know.
Just FYI. I know no one else can see it or know why I'm mad, but I saw that.
I know you saw it. I'm doing it deliberately.
Anyway, so on the right-hand side of the map with Crossing in the Woods, we have a good little flank coming in here from Noggano, trying to get round the back of this MG from Von Ivan, who should be able to turn it quite easily and defend it with the 2 Grenadiers that he's got. Noggano's going to go for that 4th Rifleman.
4th Rifleman, that's a lot of investment into manpower. It's going to be possibly tying up his economy a little bit, and meaning that if he's constantly reinforcing, he won't be able to get his M20 out, or his Stuart out, or his anti-air half-track out as quickly as he would like.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and there's no... I mean, I guess that's the replacement for the mortar here in this game previously, and I don't understand why you would do that, because, you know, hasn't he seen that Von Ivan has gone double MG here? The mortar seems like it would be a great counter. Maybe he wants to go with the grenade tech and use the smoke, I don't know, but mortar would have been a great idea, surely.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in this one, but who are we to question the mighty Noggano? Let's see how he plays it. Let's see what he's got in store for us in this game. A Rifleman, by the way, they were down very deep into enemy territory with a rear echelon in tow. The grenade tech isn't quite there, yo. He's currently taking an ambulance, so the MG will get away scot-free.
Yeah, the ambulance is absolutely essential right now. If you're going to go in with 4 riflemen, you really want to make sure that they have healing, because, you know, Von has also gone with a pretty heavy tier 1 build, so, you know, you've got to make sure those riflemen are always fit to fight every single engagement. So it's a very good choice to delay whatever teching he's doing to get that up and running.
Real echelon 1 man, but that 1 model does have a lot of health to be able to run the gauntlet and get safely back to home. Same with the MG, same with the Grenadiers, so retreats in unison for both players.
I like how we're watching these engagements fight on the opposite sides they should be of the river there. So yeah, riflemen firing from Von Ivan's side over to the other side of the river, where where Von Ivan, you know, firing back. A little bit of a strange engagement, but just shows the strategy from these players. They're trying to get really, really deep into enemy territory, try and go for the vital cutoffs namely these 2 strategic points, which will completely deny resources from your opponent on the map.
It is a split map right now. It's an east to west split. Usually on Crossing in the Woods we see a north to south split, a Pokeball-esque tactical map. So it's why we're seeing a little bit of a difference in the engagements.
Von's just going for his med bunker now. He also sees the importance of not leaving these squads at half health against the riflemen, who are now fully healed up, so these engagements will start going wrong, and Von Ivan's going to have to sit back a little bit, let Noggano kind of steal the right side of the map. And this is usually where it starts to go wrong for Austere.
Could also go wrong for USF here. It's, as I say, it's not something we're used to seeing 4 rifles, a lot of manpower economy, possibly a lot of drain if he doesn't pick his engagements correctly. Although he's doing very well at the moment, 2 rifles dawning on this MG42.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful flank there. Really denied any opportunity for Von Ivan to manually suppress those multiple squads. One from the left, one from the right, echelons through the middle will push Von Ivan back. And then we've got the Rifleman squad going for that all-important decap of the strategic point. At least I think he's going for it. No, he's not. He's actually going to run on.
Manpower economy, seemingly. He's going for the wipes, he's going for the attrition, not going for the resource denial. It's all about trying to win engagements against infantry right now. He's actually on a telemine at the moment, the Rifleman. That's a good one to watch out for later in the game.
Of course, the telemine does not trigger to infantry. Telemine's one of the things that has been fixed, we're told. It has been given the almighty fix we've been waiting for years, where hopefully now it will always trigger damage to all of the tanks. You won't be seeing any more telemines that blow up without giving damage, we're told, in version 1.9.
2 fixes in total. 2 fixes in total. Fixed an issue where the OS Pioneers would announce anti-personnel mine has been built, when it's actually, of course, an anti-vehicle mine. And then, as Dan just said, it does not trigger too early, failing to cause damage. So that finally, Dan, 4 years and the telemine has been fixed. So well done, Balance Mode team.
Austere saved, maybe?
that's what we needed to fix balance, exactly. Doesn't matter about all the Brit abilities, etc. Just the telemine voice line, woohoo!
The Austere telemine is absolutely essential in some games. You plant the early telemine and you wipe one of the light vehicles from the allies. It can be a game-changing situation on occasions. So it's definitely nice. I mean, it's never really had problems against the light vehicles, but there's always that kind of problem when the Centaur rolls in from the Brits and just wipes all your mines, taking no damage. And you're like, oh, really?
More east to west dynamic coming into play there. The MG42 flips north to south, denying those the riflemen in the rear echelon from penetrating too deeply.
Stuart's about to hit the field with no commanders picked yet. Oh, actually, we didn't have commanders picked for a long time in the last game. Something that Noggano is kind of doing routinely at the moment is not picking any commanders that benefit from kind of an early game strategy. And also we're seeing restraint from Von Ivan here, because Von Ivan would normally launch into something straight away. So at least we know he's playing with a little bit of seriousness at the moment.
If he does pick Storm Doctrine, by the way, it's not a troll pick from Von Ivan. He's been using Regal Mind on his stream to actually good effect, notably against Price. So yeah, he's going to be playing seriously, it seems, in this game, and it's very cool to see.
Gotta get those Flamer Pioneers out of there. They've got a long retreat through a couple of Riflemen as well, who should be able to take advantage of the low health. If this squad does not go down, I'll be very, very surprised. There we go.
The Flamer's still a bit pickable as well. The Grenadier could suffer if he tries to get it. Will the Sherman get a shot off?
Now manages to escape with that one. Unfortunate loss with the Pioneers. They're going to set Von Ivan back a little bit of manpower, but apparently he was floating 500 manpower there, so this will not impact him that greatly.
That manpower should have been spent on the light mechanized company and the Pack 40. There's no excuses at 9 minutes in a competitive game as Wehrmacht to not have a Pack 40 out by now. And he would have kept his Pioneer alive. He could have kept the Sherman at bay if he had done so.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people calling Panic Puma at the moment, and definitely, well, there we go, it's actually just come in now, so that would seemingly is the reasonable choice here. It's the quickest way he's going to be able to get his 80 on the field now, but this instantly puts him in a very, very bad position later on in the game, where he's going to have to rely on going up to tip 4, rather than having any decent late game tanks.
The poo-poo panic button has been pushed. in this case with a garbled yellow camo. It comes onto the field. Will it make Von Ivan's game or will it break his army? MG42 has also been taken. Oh, it's not going well for him at the moment.
No, he's got so much ground to make up. I think he nearly gave away double fuel. Managed to decrew the MG gun, so a little bit of a save there if he can recrew that. It's a very, very nice pickup to help him out in this situation.
Puma has been changed a little bit. It was changed a bit more, but then the scope brought it in. It's mostly the target weak point changes now. Blind ability, damage has been reduced, and it's had a bit of a cost change as well.
We're seeing the stun coming from the Stuart there. Vision damage blocked. Puma's trying to get away a little bit whilst Noggano secures himself the MG steal. Going to be taking that back to base.
That's a brutal steal. I mean, when you're really suffering, your MG42 is the thing probably that's going to keep you on the field. I mean, he has got another one at least, so it's not going to be the end of the game for him. But it's never nice to lose that weapon, in my opinion.
No, I think especially when you haven't integrated any kind of indirect fire into your build, it's a really difficult one to come up against as Austin. If Noggano uses it right, if he spaces out the units in the squad, then I think he'll kind of lock down a lot of area with that MG.
Nice rifle aim from the Grenadiers, hitting Veteran C2. He's got Veteran C2 on all of his units now, all of his mainline infantry units, so it's not like he's been outplayed massively, Von Ivan. It's all about the survivability of his army for the next 5 minutes.
He should be alright with the Puma, really, because now he's just got to focus on building up as much infantry as he can, and much anti-infantry really, to try and deal with what he's got. If he can carry on playing the Puma well, he should be able to last up until he gets the AT guns against potentially Shermans or Pershing. But it's a very difficult situation given what he's lost already. He's still electing to overextend with some of his units like the Grenadiers here, when really he's struggling back at the base territories, so
that is Von Ivan's both his strongest point and sometimes his weakest point. Over-aggression, lack of preservation, and staying on the battlefield in engagements where he should be back at base sometimes. But you wouldn't change him for the world.
Ostroupen out on the field at the moment, one of them coming with the LMG, should provide some kind of use. At least he's got his manpower army back up equal with Noggano, so it's not actually too bad a decision to go for these units. They'll be able to sit in cover, kind of take a lot of shots and basically provide that extra bit of security for the Puma against the Stuart, having extra Faust units on the field. But yeah, I mean, this is where Noggano just picks Von Ivan apart, is when Von Ivan spreads out, Noggano just hits the territories, you know, the strategic territories so hard.
He's very good at exploiting weaknesses. Another function of Von Ivan's commander pick, as another Puma, by the way, just rolls on the field, is of course Ostroupen reserves, and he rolled an LMG on one of them, which is always nice. It helps you get back in the game if you've lost a bit of infantry. Both Pumas going in, Dan.
Yeah, this could be nice actually. Stuart puts the stun shot on one of the Pumas, smoked, deployed by Von Ivan. Not sure where he popped that, considering it's not really giving him any defense.
They're going for it though. The riflemen are going to possibly anti-tank rifle grenade him, damage the engines. It could actually be a death knell for Von Ivan's army. Smoke pop perfectly, keeps the riflemen at bay, and they'll be able to retreat back into his own territory.
That was a really good save, actually, and I do feel I should compliment Von Ivan, because normally that's the kind of thing he would rush into and just kind of pray that he gets a little bit of benefit out of it, but he actually made a very, very good decision there to do that. Wipes an echelon retreating through the center, so Von Ivan very, very much still in this game, and this is just what you expect from him when he's playing properly.
Another point of course, his doctrinal pick, the mobile defense doctrine, that Panzer Tactician Smoke. It's one of the best tactical abilities of any commander in the game, for my money.
Yeah, it's an absolute lifesaver for tanks in a lot of situations. It really is the escape mechanic, and given how valuable Axis tanks are, how rare and valuable they are, it's really good. Oh, nice grenade from Noggano here, should wipe the MG. Oh, actually, it was just to keep one guy low health.
This Grenadier is a Terminator Grenadier, Vet 3, it's got an LMG teching, it's got a flamethrower, it's a jack of all trades, and it's currently in a difficult position against a Vet 2 barred up rifleman.
It's an interesting mechanic having the flamethrower on the Grenadiers because you can't really use them with the A move function. You know, basically one of the models doesn't fire, so you have to like manually get them close enough where the flamer will burst, which will do a lot of damage when you do get it working.
This rifleman does have one bar at the moment. It's up against the Puma, which of course has a narrowed AoE at the moment, more of a vehicle specialist in this patch. So it shouldn't actually do any damage at all to the rifleman. The MG42 however will.
Yeah, I think even with the Puma not being an anti-infantry unit, it's still nice to be just picking away at things because you do get the occasional model drop with that. You do see that the M10 has just come on the field, so armor company for Noggano. That's how he's going to finish off the Pumas. Quite a familiar matchup, to be honest. This has always seemed to be the go-to commander to counter this mobile defense meta.
Stewart's in a difficult position. Will the Pumas make a big foray into his forces and stop paying for themselves? One more shot required. Well, here comes the M10 Wolverine tank destroyer.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough situation. The M10 decides not to go in just in case the Pumas do get enough shots off to decrew it. Von, I think he's taking shots there, might be through smoke. No, they are tracking the vehicle. It's a very delicate retreat there from Noggano, and Von Ivan looks like he's going to try it.
He's going to go for it. One Puma fully health, the other in tow. Just needs one big shot against the M10. He misses, and he'd be wise to retreat at this point, but Von Ivan isn't wise. He's bloody insane at times.
Oh my god, not only does it get destroyed, it's abandoned, which means it may go into the hands of Noggano if he can defend it. Von goes in, but is still focusing the light vehicles rather than destroying the vehicle that he does not want to give to Noggano.
He's going to try and make up for it. This is a third-built Puma. It's just come onto the battlefield. He misses. He's getting really pissed off. Von Ivan, where is his luck? Where is his luck in this game?
Noggano is actually hiding his tank behind one of the sight blocker trees there, as you can just see, and such a fragile little cone of sight blocker just stops the Puma from getting that final kill. Noggano takes the engine damage. I think he'll be able to reclaim this Puma, Von Ivan.
I have to say, it is one of those. I know he's going in with the weak Puma, and he does a max range shot, and he finally has a shot on target. So Von Ivan isn't actually that worse off for wear now. He lost one Puma, so it's an 80 fuel loss, 270 manpower. He is in a recoverable position.
He's in a recoverable position from one sense, but the VPs tell a little bit of a different story at 178 against the pretty much 500. Noggano is just making a huge sweeping push across the right side of the map right now. He should be able to easily go and collect fuel on the left-hand side as well to double fuel, and that is going to make the M10 spawning very, very lethal.
Talking of which, just had the bulldozer 105mm howitzer in miniature come onto the field. This is just going to literally obliterate what Von Ivan has left.
It's a very nice unit, this one, and got some abilities on it that are rather underused, mainly the create barrier. Have you ever seen this used into effect, AE?
I have indeed. It's a very good defensive ability. It can be used in an offensive capacity also. Actually, it's one of my favourites, to be honest.
Von Ivan trying everything he can at the moment to hold his territory. There we see the bulldozer open up with its first shot, and that's going to force the Grenadiers to retreat, and the M10's coming in as well. This looks like Noggano may be going in for a little bit of a finisher here.
He's going in for it. He's got all of his vehicles. The sharks smell blood.
Oh, that's a very, very nice stun shot there from the Pumas on the M10. That should allow them to stay alive a little bit longer. The Pumas close the shot off on the M10, which forces the bulldozer to retreat.
Great work from the Pumas. I mean, you don't throw yourself up against something that's got such an accurate anti-vehicle cannon. I mean, obviously on the move they can be a little bit inaccurate, as we saw in the north there, but they were just sitting, getting repaired by the Pioneers, and he threw himself against them, and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, I think also what really, really played in there was the stun shot, the target weak point from the Puma, the sight block for the M10, and just kind of allowed the M10 not to counterfire at any point. So Von Ivan, you know, the Puma spam at the moment, trying to counter any of these M10s and the bulldozers shown, it should allow his infantry army to do some work. I'm going to see the grenade here from Noggano. He's trying to focus on the 18 here.
More than likely. Because Von Ivan's infantry is so penned in at the moment, he really just can't get out of his own base. He's got to make some big wins with the Pumas in order to do so.
Yeah, he's got a very, very difficult situation that he's come up against. I'm trying to figure out where he's going. He's trying to go for the Stuart. He's putting everything he possibly can into hitting the Stuart right now, which is currently vet 3. But he can't neglect this Bulldozer Sherman because it will just destroy any of his army that's advancing on the VPs.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, if you go for the Stuart, you're not concentrating on the infantry, and the Bulldozer could be ravaging them in the back lines. Also, the small target size of the Stuart allows it to get away a lot more nimbly than a bigger target.
My word, Bulldozer Sherman is just deflecting shots left, right, and centre off of the Puma. The Puma on mass strategy does not seem to be helping Von Ivan that much right now, and he may even take a team-aid on the retreat if he decides to directly retreat that Puma right now. I think we've got an M10 closing in. Very, very fragile situation.
This is a game that shows you just why Noggano is a top drawer in this community. At the highest level, he's consistent, he's ferocious, and he's educated. He plays with a certain degree of strategical knowledge that sets him aside from other players.
Yeah, he's been very, very good with the calculations. He's always got units on retreat paths and just delivers an excellent performance. But here is not the same for Von Ivan, who is allowing the Bulldozer Sherman to just crush his ground forces, whilst the Pumas, they seem to be overextending once again, going down to the M10, a second one. He's so desperate to get those vehicles, but Noggano will not let them die.
Oh, God. Horrendous. It must have been a mine, I guess, on that road?
No, that was the Bulldozer Sherman that delivered a shot to the rear armor. Yeah, it just fell absolutely perfectly onto the rear armor of the Puma there.
Difficult shot to hit, and he hit it, and it's absolutely just destroyed there. Strategical is not a word, most likely. You're right, guess, good son. Also, I heard something cool from Callum in chat. They're currently working on trying to make anti-vehicle vehicles always prioritise vehicles and not have the option to attack infantry. And I believe that would be a good change for the game. I mean, that would make it a much easier game for a lot of the beginner players to play. It's one of those changes that would have a cascading effect.
Oh, that was an amazing crush. Lots of crushes there from the Bulldozer Sherman. Wipes the remaining units. Now the Puma has an opportunity to take this down, but I don't think it's going to affect Noggano that much right now.
Might not be able to accomplish it. Let's wait, because the Stuart could save the Howitzer's day. By the way, that was the Ostrich, and those guys that just got obliterated and defragmented across the map, they got a Faust off with their last action on this earth.
Another MG recruit for Noggano. He's going to be able to lock these points down easily now. 23 VPs. It looks like at this stage, Noggano is going to become our second king in this series. And he has taken down some seriously impressive players in this tournament so far.
Oh, he's a very impressive player himself, and we're now left dissecting what Von Ivan did wrong. I would recommend that not getting a Pack 40 out in top-level Wehrmacht play is an opportunity and to die. It's just like saying, I'm not so sure I want to win this game. Here's a giant glaring flaw in my build. Please exploit it. Oh! Grenadiers, the Terminator Grenadiers have been alive for a very long time, possibly not going to be alive for much longer. I've got a few extra viewers right now, 391 and growing. We want to try and break the 1K mark today, so invite all your Steam friends in, get your buddies that you watch games with from TeamSpeak, etc. Get them all in for today. We were going to be casting some excellent gameplay.
Yeah, and also interesting, of course, the new rules are going to come into effect when Noggano wins this game, which we'll have a little bit of discussion about that just in the lobby before we start the next series in effect.
Yep, Series 3 about to start in 3 VP's timer. 2 seconds to go.
The enemy is taking our territory.
So yeah, there we go. I think that was a pretty clear win from Noggano there. It looked like it could have been a good start game for Von Ivan actually, but overextended, a couple of squad wipes, losing that MG, absolutely key to that victory there for Noggano. But again, Panic Pumas do not work in this game, and people are saying, Austere underpowered. That's because all anyone does is play Puma, and it sucks, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Try playing some other commanders in the Winter Balance preview. But yeah, I mean, Noggano did play well there. I wouldn't class the balance issues yet by any stretch of the imagination.
Got a very funny comment from Squishy Muffin. Can I play next Stormers? I'm disappointed in my pick.
Oh dear, poor Von Ivan. Well, anyway, let's go back to the lobby. Alrighty, so there we go. Noggano, our second king of the hill. He joins Helping Hands in the prestigious slot. Von is asking me to read my Steam, which I will in just a moment when I go back into the lobby.
Of course, so Noggano is our Season 2 champion, and we have got some... that's really good vindication, because obviously he lost against Hans in Season 1 with that horrific sinking of the Panther on Samoski Winter. When Hans's Cromwell shot him when he didn't even mean to. It just cascaded off into the distance and happened to kill the thing that was meaning Noggano was winning at that point. So yes, it's a bit of vindication for the Russian as he finds himself in a very good position indeed.
Yeah, there's a lot of people still going on about the Puma decision there. Like, I understand why people pick the Puma, but it hurts Austere so much because you're not teching and you're spending that fuel on the early call in, and like 70 is a lot if you're already not getting fuel. You're basically saying, I commit to only using these units as anti-tank for the rest of the game. And quite frankly, you know, you could try and work the AT guns in a little bit more there, but you know, if we didn't have those squad wipes and stuff, it could have been a completely different game. I hope we do get to see some players that carry Austere really well with some other commanders, because so far mobile defense has not worked once. It didn't work with Love Nest, it didn't work with Von Ivan, so hopefully we do get to see a little bit of change there, but we validate all the concerns. We just want to see some variety now so we can actually see a little bit more on the performance front. But this is all a kind of viewing observation, so if we do see balance issues, if we see things that we think are like horrendous, then obviously yeah, like we'll discuss it, we will take it to the forums and have it investigated. But yeah, I mean, definitely keep watching for some other factions and see how it performs. But yeah, I totally agree, like mobile defense not working at all.
The mobile defense is a defensive pick. It's literally if you're losing and for some unknown reason you're Wehrmacht in a top level game against a brilliant player, you don't build a pack 40. It's just mind-numbingly strange to me. Every top level tournament player, I always see them build a pack 40, and if you haven't got one and you think Pumas are going to be a stopgap, it ain't going to work. And we saw Noggano brutally exploit that situation.
So it looks like with Noggano crowned, we have the opportunity to invite 2 players into our tournament now. So we've got 2 people who could potentially be our next king. So we will open up a new raffle, which has just been reset right now. So if you've raffled before now, raffle again. Exclamation mark raffle, you could be one of the 2 players to play in our first game of this series. And sorry,
I want to implore the audience now, if you're gonna raffle, you stay on this stream and you have it in your head whether you're gonna you know the spiel, if you're gonna choose or play, because in the past when we had to pick 2 new contenders, it's been a clusterfuck, quite frankly. So please make this work for us today. Make it quick, make it snappy, make it efficient, and let's get on with the games.
I see DevM is still up in the raffle right now. DevM is a player who could definitely show you how to play the Austere faction at its highest level, for sure. So maybe consider that one. But this is a good opportunity when we get to this stage. It's a good opportunity to cast, you know, some lower level spectrum of things that go on right now. So, you know, we've always had some great games. We had, what was it, Zarok and Fahu, which was an absolutely awesome game that we cast a couple of weeks ago at this stage.
Tenshi keeps banning Barton. Can you just tell him that he's not meant to be banned during the raffle?
Yeah. So let him do his exclamation mark raffle. Once you see it, then you can ban him, which I see he has done now. So yeah.
I see. Barton's trying to troll. He's done his raffle and then he's
yeah. So
I see. Very clever, Barton.
Yeah. Barton is just trying to aggravate you, so just keep him back.
Von Klug's taking the bait